Bib is back with some more alien action. This time it's Xenophobe for your Atari 7800 Pro system with some label/box art that features an alien that looks like he's just a floating head that's way too happy, and 2 members of the Aquaman fan club. How interesting. Let's go ahead and take Xenophobe, pop it in my Pro system, and see how this version holds up. Let's go to the game. Xenophobe was published by Atari and carries the copyright year of 1989. It is based on the 1987 Bally Midway arcade game. Xenophobe is a split-screen, multi-room action game for 1 or 2 players simultaneously, with the first player using the top screen and the second player using the bottom. There are 4 modes of difficulty: Novice, Standard, Advanced, and Expert. According to the manual, several of your planet's space stations have been overrun by aliens called xenophobes. So what does your planet do when a large number of aliens overrun large space stations vital to your planet's security with no apparent survivors? Do they send an intergalactic army? Or maybe a specially trained squad with state-of-the-art weapons? Nope, they just send you alone and maybe a friend, armed only with one of the weakest guns known to man. Oh well, I guess it wouldn't have been much of a game if they armed you better. At the beginning of the game, you are transported to a space station where your first goal is to wipe out all the aliens. You can also self-destruct the space station if this is too much of a challenge by finding a self-destruct code piece of paper and then accessing the proper computer terminal. If you are not able to do the previous options in time, the space station will automatically self-destruct. No matter which one occurs, you will be transported back to your ship and taken to the next space station, assuming you didn't die during your time on the space station. During the game, you use the right and left on the joystick to move likewise, down to duck, at which point you can crawl to the left or right, and up or diagonally up to jump. The first button fires your weapon or punches if you don't have one, and the second button throws a grenade if you have any. You can press down over objects, including weapons and grenades, to pick them up. However, sometimes 2 objects may overlap and you may accidentally pick one up instead of the other. This is important for weapons, as you can only drop weapons a certain number of times before they blow up. You can also press up at the self-destruct computer to activate it if you have picked up the code at some point, and up at the elevator buttons to call the elevator. Once in the elevator, you can press up or down to move in that direction. By each elevator, the name of the floor is displayed in red if there are any aliens still on the floor, or blue if there are none. However, on blue floors, if you go into a room, an alien might appear, changing the floor back to red status. Also, it seems that the aliens in the doorways that have not yet entered the rooms don't count if you leave that room. You start the game with 1,000 health points. Lose them all and your game is over. However, you can gain more health by picking up dirty burgers off the ground and a flask, which I'm assuming is containing some sort of space-age Gatorade. You can also get 200 health points if you clear a station of all the aliens, as well as bonus points for doing so. You can also get bonus points for self-destructing the space station, but no health bonus points will be awarded if you do so. If you are forced to leave the space station for taking too long, you will get no extra points. But no matter how you leave the space station, you will get bonus points for anything you picked up. You will face various aliens, with lesser ones evolving as you play. The lowest form is the pod that opens and then turns into a face-hugger-like critter. The next is the roller baby. In that form, it can roll into a ball that can only be harmed by a grenade. The final form is the deadly snotterpillar that can also spit at you. There are also tentacles on some ceilings that can grab you and can only be shot while jumping in the air. Since most of the forms are low to the ground, I spend most of my time shooting while crawling. Speaking of weapons, there are 4 guns in the game. From the lowest in power to the highest, there is the standard phaser, the laser pistol, the lightning rifle, and the poofer gun. The laser pistol has the best range, while the most powerful poofer gun seems to have the shortest. You can only carry 1 gun at a time, and if you drop them by picking up another, being hit, or jumping into a closed door, they might blow up. You can still punch, but your punches are pretty weak, meaning that if you lose your gun on one of the later levels, you may find yourself in great trouble. The game has 9 space stations, with each one containing 1 to 5 floors depending on the station. If you get through all 9, the game will loop back to the beginning with no ending or boss fights. Graphically speaking, the game often gets criticized for having only 1 selectable character, who looks like a generic Jean-Luc Picard, but I liked how each space station has a different look on the outside, ranging from a Death Star ripoff to an old school rocket. I also thought the weapons and the rooms of the space stations were nice looking as well. Music and sound-wise, the polyphonic music tends to sound a bit out of tune, but on the other hand, I thought that the sound effects were well done. As far as family friendliness is concerned, there is a lot of animated space blasting action and skulls that you can pick up, but there is no blood in the game. On eBay, loose copies go for $12 to $20, and new copies were selling for $20 to $31 with the prices including shipping. So what did I think of Xenophobe for the Atari 7800? Well, I didn't find it too challenging on most difficulties, but this is a game I had when I was a kid, so it's possible I'm just really used to it. And while I do wish you could press a button to jump instead of pressing up on the joystick, I like the precision of pressing a button to throw a grenade, and since I crawl more than I jump, using up to jump wasn't that big of a deal to me. Now sometimes it can be hard to hit an enemy when you're overlapping them, but this didn't bother me too much, most likely because I tried to keep my distance. While some people might find the gameplay a bit monotonous after a while, I actually had a really good time blasting the aliens, and never knowing when an alien was going to jump out of a door kept me on my toes. So where am I going to rank Xenophobe? Probably a little higher than most. I enjoyed the arcade action of Xevious and Dig Dug a little more, but even though I enjoy Donkey Kong Jr., I'd rather blast aliens than climb vines, so I'm going to make Xenophobe my new number 8 ranked game for the Atari 7800. If blasting aliens sounds fun, Xenophobe on the 7800 might be worth checking out. If you enjoy retro-related videos, would you please click the like and subscribe buttons? You can now support the show through Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/NoSwearGamer. Thank you for giving me a little part of your day, and I look forward to seeing you next time on the next episode of the No Swear Gamer. Take care, and don't forget your poofer gun.